Quarantina Cantina with Tina!
Welcome to the Quarantina Cantina with Tina. I'm your host, Tina. Day 17 of self-isolation. No company but my dog and my producer, the ghost who finally got bored of haunting me. Today's episode, we're going to talk about chicken cutlets. Now, the ghost and I have been eating a lot of pasta and rice during this time, and I bet you have too. Now, part of the reason is because pasta and rice is really shelf-stable, but the other part of the reason is that it's really flexible. When you have pasta or rice, you just sort of toss together whatever you find and call it dinner. But it's a lot of carbs. Chicken cutlets offer a lot of the same flexibility, but a different sort of platform for your whatever you find. They cook fast and evenly, but most importantly, that layer of breading not only insulates the meat and keeps it juicy, no longer how long it's been in the freezer or what you've had to do to get it, but it also picks up flavors and holds them really well. So you can have sort of whatever you find in your pantry, you can make some sort of sauce that's going to go well with a breaded cutlet. I'm going to be making chicken piccata. Hi! So this is actually my variation on chicken piccata. Instead of chicken, I'm going to be using squab, or pigeon meat. I've sourced this very locally. An arrogant pigeon in the backyard challenged me to a contest of wits, and now I'm going to feast on its... What? I'm being told we don't have squab? I'm being told I lost the contest of wits. Alright, backup plan. It's for the best. More of you probably have frozen chicken breasts than impudent pigeons anyway. So, ideally you took the chicken out to thaw a while ago, but if you, like me, were surprised at the shocking lack of ingredients you thought you had, then don't fret, you still have some options. If you need things to thaw in a hurry, you could use the microwave for this. I don't recommend it. The microwave heats really unevenly, and you're very likely to get some areas of the chicken that are starting to cook while others are completely frozen. Besides which, if you're anything like me, your microwave is absolutely full of toilet paper anyway. That's fine. Lukewarm water will do the trick. Just get a bowl, fill it up. You can leave it running or change the water routinely if you need to thaw things a little faster. Otherwise, just focus on getting the rest of your ingredients together. If you've been more responsible and knew exactly where your ingredients were the entire time, and they didn't best you in a contest of wits, now would be a great time to salt your meat. Salting your meat at least 40 minutes before cooking it really helps it retain moisture and stay nice and juicy as sort of a safeguard against overcooking it. Once your chicken is thawed, if you started out with pre-cut cutlets that are an even thickness, you're ready to go. I didn't. I started out with thick, uneven pieces of meat, so I'm going to need to fix that. So there are a few ways to render cutlets. Here's mine. Press one hand down flat against the breast. Begin cutting in at the thickest end of the breast. And just move your way through, trying to stay as even as you can to create two even sides. You want to minimize the number of strokes you make. You don't want to hack at it or saw at it. You might screw up. That's fine. It'll taste the same. You'll get there. So then you open that up. Looks pretty good. They look to be about the same size. Probably could have done a little better over here. And we'll go to the second one. Set that aside for now. That difference in thickness, we're going to sort it out in a moment. So you can do a little better over here. Yeah, see? Even with just two. Practice makes perfect. You can see they're still not completely even, which we would like them to be. So I have placed a layer of non-brand name plastic wrap down over them, and I'm going to literally beat them into shape. This is to make sure they have an even thickness. My producer, the ghost, has assured me they're dead, and I need to stop. Sorry, they're of an even thickness. So now, we're ready to bread the chicken. We're going to set up 3 plates. You could also use shallow bowls, just anything where you can kind of dredge the piece of chicken through the ingredients. Your first step is going to be a plate or bowl or receptacle of your choice. The skulls of your enemies could work, of all-purpose flour. Next up is going to be a plate of beaten eggs. Now, if your eggs come from the before time, you might be worried about whether they're fresh or not. I wouldn't worry about it. Those Best By and sell-by dates, they are mostly for flavor. We're using the eggs here not for their flavor, but as binders for the breading. You obviously don't want to use eggs that are have gone bad and could hurt you, but most eggs are shelf-stable out to, at least 5 weeks. And really, you can let your nose guide you here. If the egg smells off or rotten, throw it away. So I'm just going to listen to my nose here. Okay, my nose is telling me that the egg says that jet fuel can't melt steel beams. So the egg is a conspiracy theorist, but it doesn't smell off. I'm still going to use it. That's what you deserve. And then our final layer here is going to be breadcrumbs. I'm using panko. You could use seasoned, Italian, whatever you like, whatever you've got. Also, because I know I'm going in an Italian direction here, I'm going to use this opportunity to add a little flavor. And to my breadcrumbs, I'm also going to add some Parmesan cheese. So I'm going to season my cutlets with a few grinds of black pepper. Throw on a little salt. Take a piece of chicken. You want to get good, even coverage, but you don't want too much. So as soon as you feel like you got all of it, you can just tap it off. All right, that looks pretty good. You can fry that up. And keeping the same process, 3 more times. All right, it's time to fry. I've got my cutlets here. I have a cast iron skillet that's been preheating for a few minutes. You don't need to use cast iron. It's my favorite. Anything that can tolerate really high heat is fine. You want to pour a generous bit of fat in there. Any neutral cooking fat will do. I'm using peanut oil here, and you can see there's quite a bit of it. That'll take another minute to heat up on its own. You want to make sure that oil is nice and hot before you lay the cutlets in. If you have a probe thermometer, you can just see how hot it is. If you don't, you want to go for about 375, so the moment your oil starts to smoke, you're in the right zone, maybe a little too high. You can also look for ripples and sheens. When all else fails, just take a breadcrumb, drop it in. If it starts to sizzle, you're ready to go. Okay, the oil's shimmering. Let's check. Let's drop a little breadcrumb in here. Okay, it immediately starts to sizzle. It's not just sitting there. So we're in a good zone. So let's take our chicken cutlets. You might lose a little bit of breading, that's all right. And lay them down into the pan. That's a nice sound. Try to lay them away from you. Hot oil knows when you're afraid, and it will attack. They are thin enough that basically as soon as one side is golden brown, not quite yet, but that's how you know they're done. If a side is golden brown, you can flip it, and it's done on that side. When these are golden brown on both sides, evacuate them to a paper towel lined plate or tray. You have more cutlets. Give the pan a second to heat back up. But then, same deal. And that is a perfect squab cutlet.
It's still chicken.
Chicken, right. Shit. I hate that pigeon. And that's dinner. I've been Tina. Join us here next time at the Quarantina Cantina. Unless things have gotten a lot better. Or a lot worse.